Okay, so the first fight of 2021 is a banger. So Ryan Garcia defeated Luke Campbell in the seventh round by KO, and he is now improved to 21-0 with 18 knockouts, while Luke Campbell falls to 20-4 with one knockout loss on his record. This is the first knockout loss for Luke Campbell. Just to go through a little bit of stats for this fight. So as long as the fight did happen, Ryan Garcia went 94 for 293. He had 32% of his punches landed. And Luke Campbell went 24 for 331. He had 22.4% of his punches landed. One thing that people should know is Ryan Garcia was knocked down in the second round, but he was able to get up and win the fight by knockout in the seventh round. Nate, you go first. What do you think about the fight?
Uh, well, first of all, I gotta give Ryan Garcia my credit. It's not every day you see a boxer get knocked down and then just come back up and win the fight. You don't really see that a lot. Usually, when you get knocked down, that's a cue that you're probably gonna lose. But for him to get knocked down and then get back up and start fighting, he took that punch, right? It was like a nice, like, chop, like, right him in the cheek, right there. And he just got back up as if nothing ever happened. This dude literally took that punch like a champ. I gotta give him so much credit for that. It's almost like he didn't get knocked down at all. But I watched the fight, and it's like there was a lot of headshots. There wasn't a lot of body shots, but that last punch that knocked down Luke Campbell and ultimately got him a knockout was a body punch. But there wasn't a lot of that really. There was a lot of headshots, and a lot of them weren't even made either. From what I seen, there was a lot of like dodging, a lot of invasion, which is really good on both sides. You know, both fighters can block, both fighters can defend and invade. That's something we said before. Um, but you and I, what I'm really surprised about this fight is how short it ended. It ended in the seventh round. There was supposed to be 12 rounds in that fight. I really thought it was going to go to distance. You and I said that. But I said he was going to get knocked out at the end. You said he was going to win by unanimous decision. It was pretty interesting to see how it ended at the seventh round. But overall, it was a good win. I still gotta give Luke Campbell credit because he gave it till the end, even though he barely lost that fight. I mean, he was just about to get up, and then the last count just came up and he lost. So I'll still give him my credit. I mean, both players deserve credit no matter what. It was a really good fight overall.
Let me tell you this. This is a very interesting fight. And it was a very good fight. Absolutely. I got to give Ryan Garcia his credit, you know? This was a tough competitor and Luke Campbell never been knocked out and this was a competitor that a lot of people were saying Ryan Garcia this was going to be his first test. Well, let me tell you something. In one fight, Ryan Garcia has more experience than most of the lightweight division now. Because remember, before this fight, we talked about how he didn't have a lot of experience. He didn't fight a lot of big name fighters. He might have the most experience out of anybody in that lightweight division now. I mean, the only guy I think of that has a little bit more is Lomachenko, and I'll get to that, and I'll tell you the reason why. Ryan Garcia, we were talking about how he's knocked people out in the third round, fourth round, first round. You know what I'm saying? His knockouts were really quick, and it was a very short night for him in every single fight that he had almost. He goes 7 rounds with Luke Campbell, and he gets knocked down. Let me tell you something. Javante Davis never got knocked down. Teofimo Lopez never got knocked down. Devin Haney never got knocked down. And here's the reason why this is so important because a lot of boxers, when they first get knocked down, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle themselves, and they usually end up going out on their shield. They'll get knocked down, they'll come back up. The guy will end up wailing on them, and the fight will probably get stopped because they don't know what to do. Ryan Garcia got knocked down. He got clipped with a nice clean shot, and credit to Luke Campbell for clipping him with that shot. Because what he did was we talked about this and we talked about how good Ryan Garcia was with this, but we didn't talk about how good Luke Campbell was. He faked it. He faked the punch going to the body. So he kind of did like a little bit of this, kind of faking the shot. Garcia puts his hands down, boom, clips him with the shot. Garcia goes down. This was the first time Ryan Garcia has been dropped. And Ryan Garcia talked about it. He said, well, Luke Campbell's good at it. He's been dropped before and he gets back up. We never seen Ryan Garcia get knocked down. And he got knocked down by Luke Campbell and he got right back up. And not only did he get back up, he wasn't nervous. He wasn't worried. He stayed composed. And it's like and like you said, it's like he never got knocked down because he looked like the same boxer when he first got back up. Another thing was these two were wailing at each other. And like you said, there were a lot of headshots. And usually in boxing there is, you know what I'm saying? And there weren't a lot of body shots. But let me tell you something. Ryan Garcia on his YouTube channel, look at his YouTube channel. That body shot challenge must really come in handy because that body shot hurt. That body shot hurt.
Looked
And
like
then
it.
And a lot of and the body shot in boxing is so underrated, so very underrated because when a person hits a body shot for 1 second after, they look completely fine. And then the next second, they're in pain because it's got that late reaction to it.
Yeah, there's like
You can
certain
look
parts of the body that are vulnerable to those attacks, like the
right.
stomach.
And you can look at the fight. Hits him with the body shot. Luke Campbell looks like he's fine. A second later, goes down. And Luke Campbell's like he's on his both knees. He's like wondering if he should get back up. And by the time he decided like I got to get back up, he couldn't get to his feet. And so Ryan Garcia had an impressive knockout. Here's the thing. For people who were talking about how like Ryan Garcia, they were talking about him. Everybody talking a bunch of trash on Twitter and Instagram and social media. You guys need to stop it. Seriously. Because let's be real here. Okay. When a boxer gets knocked down, right? I'm gonna be real with you, it's probably the best thing that's ever happened to them. And the reason why is because now you know how to deal with adversity, get back up, and continue fighting on your feet. And let me tell you something, from round 1 to 7, it was Ryan Garcia's fight. Even that round 2 when he got knocked down, excuse me, it was his fight because he landed the more accurate shots. He probably landed more shots on Luke Campbell. He was giving Luke Campbell a hard time. And then by the 7th round, he was able to close it. Luke Campbell had that nice clip shot on him, right on his chin. Ryan Garcia fell, got back up, continued fighting on his feet. That's what I call a fighter right there. Because anybody can knock people first round. You know, anybody can do that. You know what I'm saying? But it takes a real champ. You know what a real champ is made of when he falls down, he gets right back up and he continues fighting. And Ryan Garcia's got that experience now. So guess who doesn't? Gervonta Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, all these guys that he's got to fight. And I know that his next competitor by mandatory will probably be most likely Devin Haney. They announced that. They said Devin Haney and him and Devin Haney are part of the same they work for the same company in DAZN. So and they fought in the amateurs and Devin Haney beat him in the amateurs, but by like a decision. So I mean, this is going to be a very good fight. I know Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, they're good friends. They do a lot of trash talking on social media, but they are very good friends with each other. So this is I can't wait to see that fight right there. Ryan Garcia passed his first test, in my opinion. He got knocked down, got back up, beat a very high-level competitor in Luke Campbell, who, remind you, was an Olympic gold medalist in 2012. So he didn't beat no fluke. So he passed his first test. Now the test gets harder with Devin Haney. And if he beats Devin Haney, I shouldn't say when because we don't know what's going to happen, but if he beats Devin Haney, and the test is just going to keep getting more harder. But this is the type of test that Ryan Garcia is going to have to do in order to become the best lightweight champion in his division. And I'm going to keep it real with you. The way I look at him, the way I see him fight, I got to be real with you, bro. He reminds me of a young Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah, man. I can't wait for him to fight guys like you said. Devin, I forgot his last name already. Beanie, yeah, him, Gervonta Davis. This is going to be some fun matches to watch. But overall, I think this fight was really good. It was very interesting, very impressive, and congratulations to Ryan Garcia for his 22nd win. It's 22-0, I think. Is it or 21-0?
21-0 now with 18 knockouts.
21-0, my bad, with 18 knockouts. So congratulations to him. Luke Campbell put up a good fight, but it just wasn't good enough. I gotta